Welcome to episode 13 of the Ronda Redo series. We've been building this car kind of in the memoriam of my first car, which I'll throw a picture right here. In this episode, we're breaking down the cost of this entire build. And I mean everything that I paid, whether that was maintenance, aftermarket parts, everything besides like gas and insurance, because that's just a normal thing, but just to get it to look like where it sits right now and how it drives and everything. Now, the second thing I purchased for the car was the Raceland WRX coilovers that are on the car that you can't see because it's on the ground, where they're the Ultimos, which are the green ones, and they are for the 02 to 07 WRX. The reason I did those was because they're shorter than the Forester coilovers, so you can go a lot lower without having the bottom of the coilover come through the sleeve and hit the axles or anything. It's a lot safer to go lower, so you're not hitting stuff with the coil. The only issue is, I'll show you real quick. The only issue are the top hats. Now the top hats, as you can see, aren't perfectly straight, so when you add camber, you're actually adding a little bit of front caster, which isn't the best. It's actually part of the reason that I rub in the front a little bit. If I had either no caster, forward caster, or even rotated the top hat to have negative caster, then that would be a little bit better, but it is what it is. This is the safest way to do this, so that's what they look like. That's the only downside of the WRX coilovers. Now you can get the Forester top hats to compensate for that, but I didn't. It really doesn't bother me. It's fine. You can look right here. The wheel might be a tad forward, but it's nothing worth being an issue. If it was even further back, honestly, it being a tad forward is saving us from that pinch weld right there in the back, so it's fine. Anyways, coilover prices have shot up since I built my first Forester Ronda. Now, when I built Ronda, I paid $500 flat for the coilovers. For these coilovers, I paid almost $600. It was like $580 out the door with taxes and everything. The next thing we did to the car was maintenance. Now, when I bought the car at 198,000 miles, it still had the OEM clutch, the OEM head gaskets, the OEM timing belt, the OEM water pump. Everything on this car was how it was from factory in 2001. No serious maintenance ever done to this car besides they put a new radiator in it, did new plug wires and plugs in it, and that's it. I figured at least do a water pump and a timing belt and all of that because I was going to drive it to Vegas for Stance Wars like a month after I bought it, and I did not want to test that timing belt being that old. Head gasket wasn't leaking when I bought it, and the clutch still feels great, and I haven't changed either of those things because they still feel great. However, the price of doing those things, I bought a kit off of eBay for like 85 bucks. It came with a water pump, timing belt, and new pulleys. It also came with like oil seal gaskets and everything, which I didn't end up using because I didn't need them. And then I took it to a shop who did all of that work, and they charged me $220. I'll be adding all of it up on the screen probably. That's how much all the maintenance costs that I've done to this car. Next on the list of things are the wheels. Now I got these, which are ESR CS15s. They are 18 by 10.5 wide, squared all the way around with a plus 22 offset. I absolutely love these wheels. I'm obsessed with them. Ever since ESR came out their CS series, I wanted a set of these particularly, so I'm stoked to have these on the car. Out the door, they're like $1,020 for the set that I bought. With the skinnier sets like the 9.5 wide, they're not as expensive. The 10.5 wides are the most expensive set that you can buy because they have the biggest lip. But there was a 3% discount code that I used. It took like 30 bucks off. I ended up paying, I think I ended up paying $980 for the entire set shipped to my house. After the $980 for the wheels, obviously we've got the tires. Now, if you remember, I got stuck in St. George when going to Vegas. Ended up having to buy 2 new tires for the fronts. Now, don't clown me for buying just 2 tires for an all-wheel drive car. The toe was so bad in the front. It was 3 degrees out in the front. It was so bad that I had cords in the front, brand new tires in the rear. I only drove these for like 500 miles before I went to Vegas, and they corded in the front. So the rears are pretty much brand new. So buying the same all seasons in the front is not gonna do anything, so that's fine. Anyways, for an entire set of tires on this car, I paid $320 off of eBay. eBay tires are not garbage. They honestly work amazing. I have never had an issue with eBay tires. I've always run them on all of my cars, so I stand by them. So $320 for the entire set of tires. and then I paid like 75 bucks to mount them. Also want to mention I paid my buddy who worked at a Subaru dealership 50 bucks to align it after we had the issue with the alignment when going to Vegas. But next on the list is the tent. Now I paid 220 bucks for the tent. We got 5% in the back, 20% in the front, and then I did this tent strip on my own, which was $7 off of Amazon. The reason I didn't do 5% all the way around is because in the daylight, the fronts are light enough that cops will leave you alone because there's a difference between the front window and the back window, but at night, no one can still see you. So that's why I did 20% in the front, 5% in the rear. After the tent, I believe we did the windshield wiper delete and cut the muffler off. Now, cutting the muffler off was completely free. This I make on my own, cost me about $2.50 probably, and then I had to cut it and reshape it and grind it down to fit. We also debadged the car. We took the emblems off right here and the emblems off on the side, and now that was also free. Hella lights on the front with the bull bar. Now if you buy these yourself, the bull bar is like 24 bucks on Amazon. The Hella Black Magic lights are like 85 bucks as well. I paid 60 bucks actually because a kid that I knew, one of my friends, who bought a Forester after I built Gronda, liked my light setup on Ronda so much that he wanted the same set. So I sent him the link to everything. He bought all the stuff, put it on his Forester, ended up selling his Forester, keeping the lights, and I bought them from him. So this is literally the exact same setup that was on Ronda. Next up, we have the shift knob that I got from Injuku Racing. Got this during their 4th of July sale, so it was $7 instead of like, I think it's like normally 25 or 30 bucks, but I paid $7 for this and had to re-drill and re-thread it to get to fit on the shifter. I have also done this Pioneer radio deck, which was 50 bucks from Walmart, and then in the trunk, 10-inch dual sub, which is 70 bucks from Walmart, and then I spliced the wires out of the sub into a new amp, which I honestly don't know how much this amp cost. I had it laying around in my garage and it worked, so I'm not gonna add that to the cost. You can get an amp normally from like a decent one for 80 to 100 bucks if you're just using something small like this. The basket on the car was free. It came with Pickle Rick when I bought him because I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a slammed Forester with off-road lights and an off-road basket. I just kind of thought it was funny. But so I have the yellow fogs, which cost like somewhere between like $7 and $10 for the lights. So I did a cold air intake, which is not on the car right now because I ended up pulling it all off and returning it because like I said, this motor is not staying in this car for too much longer. If you've watched the episode, it cost me $50 from, I think I got every single piece from O'Reilly's besides this couple I already had sitting in the garage. And when I threw all the stock stuff away, the trash came like the next day and I didn't get a chance to pull it all out, and so it's all gone. So that's the intake system for now. It'll be different motor and everything soon. So I have this neat Broadway mirror in the cabin of the car, which costs 13 bucks. It's pretty much it for the entire cost of this build series. The only thing that is not on the car that I have purchased for the car is a special emblem thing that will be in a video soon, most likely just a TikTok. But that cost me $23 for the thing that's coming for the front. But there you have it. That's how much it costs to build Gronda. If you're doing math the entire time on how much this costs, good on you. I'll be adding this up for you, which is $6,327.50, which is a rough estimate. Couldn't find all of the prices for all of the parts that I bought, so that was a rough estimate for what I remembered. $6,327.50 is what I paid to build this exact car right here. If you wanted to build this exact car right here, it could cost you a little more or even a little less, depending if you need to do a timing belt or if you need to do some other things on the car. For this build series, $6,327.50, which is, I know for a fact, very, very close to what I paid for everything. Don't leave yet. Just announcement real quick. There is only one more official episode of the Gronda series, which I don't want you to be sad about because the Gronda series was redoing this car like Ronda. Now this car is pretty much the exact same as Ronda, besides maybe a couple things, but it's really, really, really freaking close. And so I'm not going to keep building the crap out of this car and calling it the Ronda Redo series because at that point it's not redoing Ronda anymore. So I'm going to have to end the series, but that does not mean we're not doing stuff to this car still. I have insane plans for this car. I have stuff already piled in my garage of parts for this car. Keep watching. There's going to be a new build series for something that's coming up that I know you'll be excited about. But anyways, that's going to be the end of it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.